This sudden, sharp anxiety that you felt does not actually belong to you. Instead, it is the direct echo of a deep emotional crisis that someone else is currently experiencing from afar. This person is doing very poorly right now, and it is directly because of their connection to you. When I say that they are doing badly, I do not mean that they simply miss you with a bit of nostalgia. I mean that their very foundation, their internal emotional structure, has been shaken to its core. Yesterday, this person felt your presence and your absence more intensely than they have at any point since the two of you first began to distance yourselves or go your separate ways. It is of the utmost importance that you understand that the invisible bonds connecting two human beings know nothing of physical distance, geography, or even blockings on social media platforms. Human connection, especially that rare kind that penetrates the spirit, operates exactly like a system of communicating vessels. When one side becomes completely overwhelmed and overflows, the other side will inevitably feel that pressure. The restlessness you experienced yesterday that caused you to constantly check your phone in anticipation of a message that never arrived, or that abrupt, jarring awakening at dawn with their name heavy on your tongue, was the definitive confirmation that their defense mechanisms have finally crumbled. This person has spent a vast amount of time painstakingly building a wall of indifference, desperately trying to convince themselves that they could move on quite easily without your presence, and that choosing to forget you was a viable and easy option. But yesterday, that wall finally collapsed. All of the accumulated energy, every unspoken word, and everything they have desperately tried to suppress finally exploded within their inner reality. The shockwave was so incredibly intense that you were able to perceive it on a physical level. Coming to terms with this is fundamental for your own peace of mind, because it is highly probable that your logical mind tried to search for rational, mundane explanations for your sudden discomfort. You might have told yourself it was just stress or simple fatigue, or perhaps just your own lingering obsession playing cruel tricks on your focus. But your soul is much wiser than your logic. It knows exactly how to recognize the difference between your own personal sadness and the sadness that radiates from an external source. What you felt yesterday was a silent, desperate cry for help. This person, in the depths of their solitude, finally confronted the harsh and unavoidable reality of your absence, and the weight of that realization became completely unbearable for them. They are realizing now that no distraction, no matter how engaging, actually works. They are learning that the noise and chaos of the world simply cannot silence the persistent, echoing voice of your memory. They are currently navigating a moment of deep darkness, a true dark night of the soul, in which the only light they can recognize or remember is the light you once brought into their existence. And although their pride, their past hurts, or their deep-seated fears prevent them from running toward you at this precise second, their energy has already made the journey. Their energetic being searched for you with desperate intensity yesterday, and that is precisely why you felt that strange sensation, as if someone was watching you closely or calling out your name loudly in a completely empty room. But to truly understand why this emotional breakdown happened for them yesterday and not last week or last month, you must first comprehend the urgent message that their soul was silently crying out to you, a message you received without a single word being spoken. There is a hidden mechanism behind this specific event, a set of invisible gears that turned and explains why the dynamic on the energetic plane suddenly shifted so drastically. Have you asked yourself why your mind suddenly became unable to stop conjuring their image with such overwhelming intensity, almost as if this person were standing right behind you? The answer is found in what happened late last night in their personal space and the energetic shift that was released over the past 24 hours. If you are ready to truly integrate this lesson into your life, write in the comments that you have received the message. Yesterday was not an ordinary day on the calendar of their emotional existence. In the energetic realm, there was a peak, a point of total saturation. I want you to imagine that this person has been filling a glass with every single memory of you they try to push away, With every single impulse to reach out and call you that they force themselves to stop, and with every single tear they swallow to maintain a hollow appearance of strength. Yesterday, that glass finally overflowed. What happened is that the resistance this person was maintaining against the connection broke through pure, raw exhaustion. Maintaining a massive emotional lie requires an incredible, draining amount of energy. Pretending that someone whom your soul recognizes as vital does not matter to you is the most exhausting work a human being can do. Yesterday, this person simply could no longer bear the heavy weight of that mask. It is highly likely that yesterday you had a significant moment of change yourself. Perhaps for one brief, fleeting instant, you decided to truly let go of your need for control. They have come to the realization that they carry you beneath their skin and that the mark you have left upon their life is completely permanent. This realization is incredibly frightening for someone who is desperately trying to run away from their feelings, and that deep-seated fear is exactly what transformed into the sudden anxiety that you perceived. It is the raw, vulnerable fear of a person who finally understands they have made a grave mistake and currently has no idea how to go about fixing it. But that intense anxiety did not arrive alone. There was a physical, almost painful sign that confirmed to them, beyond any doubt, that they could no longer outrun this feeling. This was not merely something happening in their mind, their body reacted to it as well. There is a biology of missing someone that was activated yesterday with truly unusual force, and that biological response is preventing this person from functioning in their day-to-day life as they normally would. If you had the ability to look through solid walls and observe their behavior in their moments of solitude, you would see the undeniable proof that your energy has taken complete control over their will. The most fascinating aspect of this kind of connection is that it does not stay trapped at the level of abstract thoughts or fleeting feelings. If we could look at the physical reality of this person at this exact moment, we would notice that their body is reacting in ways that are entirely beyond their logical control. The human body is the most sensitive receiver in existence. When the soul screams out in silence, biology inevitably responds. What this person experienced yesterday and continues to feel today is an intense physical manifestation of your absence. It is not just that they are thinking of you, their entire organism is exhibiting clear, recognizable symptoms of energetic withdrawal. The resistance they have been trying to maintain in their mind is breaking down on a physical level, and this is causing them deep confusion and immense frustration because they simply do not understand why they are feeling these things when, in theory, they are trying so hard to move on with their own life. One of the most obvious symptoms that this person is suffering right now is a very specific feeling of pressure in the middle of their chest. It is not a medical pain, but rather a distinct feeling of tightness, as if an invisible hand were squeezing their heart, or as if they were struggling to find air even though they are breathing perfectly well. This feeling of a knot is the physical manifestation of all the words they have swallowed and all the love they have forcefully suppressed. Yesterday, this pressure became almost unbearable for them. It is very likely that at some point during the day, they had to stop what they were doing, take a long, deep breath, or even unconsciously rest their hand over their chest to relieve a weight that is not physical, but entirely emotional. It is the heavy burden of knowing, deep down in their very cells, that they are far away from where they truly belong. In addition to this tightness, there is a phenomenon that will surely be familiar to you, as you may have experienced it yourself: the restlessness of the early morning hours and the strange habit of waking up at mirror hours. This person is not sleeping soundly. They might manage to drift off from pure exhaustion, but their sleep is shallow and constantly interrupted. Yesterday, it is very likely that they woke up abruptly between 3 and 4 in the morning with an inexplicable feeling of alertness, as if someone had called out their name or turned on a light in their room. In that quiet, vulnerable silence of the night, when the ego's defense mechanisms are at their lowest point, their mind wanders directly to you. They truly cannot avoid it. They toss and turn in their bed, desperately seeking a comfortable position, but their pillow seems full of intrusive thoughts about what once was and what could have been. This abrupt awakening is their body's direct response to the vibration you are emitting, or perhaps, paradoxically, to the vacuum you left behind when you withdrew your energy. Another physical symptom that reveals their current state is a persistent, unusual fatigue, an exhaustion that simply does not go away, no matter how much they sleep or try to rest. This person feels heavy, as if simply walking or completing the most basic daily tasks requires double the normal amount of effort. This exhaustion is primarily due to the massive energy drain caused by their constant internal struggle. Try to imagine the incredible amount of vital resources that are consumed when a person tries to lie to themselves all day long, pretending that an essential human being no longer matters to them. This ongoing fight between the mind that says no and the heart that says yes drains their reserves of vitality. That is exactly why this person felt and still feels today, completely drained and lacking in motivation, as if they are moving through their day on automatic mode. The people around them may even start to notice that their gaze has dimmed or that they lack their usual spark and enthusiasm because their primary energy source, which was always strengthened by your presence, now feels distant and unreachable. It is also very common for changes in appetite to occur during this state. The stomach, which is often considered our second emotional brain, tends to shut down in the face of separation anxiety. This person may feel a literal knot in their stomach that prevents them from eating a normal meal. On the other hand, they might experience anxiety attacks that they try to calm by eating comfort foods without even truly tasting them. Yesterday, food had absolutely no flavor for this person. Everything seemed bland to them because the sweetness of life, in their subconscious perception, is inextricably connected to you. When the spirit is not nourished by the love and connection it craves, the body loses interest in physical nourishment. It is a primitive form of grief that their organism is processing, even if their conscious mind refuses to admit it. Even this person's senses are constantly searching for you, often creating illusions. It is entirely possible that yesterday they thought they saw your silhouette among the people on the street, or that they heard a voice identical to yours in the middle of a crowd. The sense of smell, which is the sense most strongly linked to emotional memory, constantly plays tricks on them. Suddenly, a breeze carrying a specific fragrance reaches them, reminding them of you, of your perfume, or simply of your essence. In places where it is physically impossible for you to be, their brain is so desperate to find patterns that confirm your proximity that it begins to project you into their physical reality. Yesterday, this person likely turned their head abruptly, convinced that you were standing right there. And when they realized you were not, that feeling of emptiness multiplied tenfold. Their body searches for you like water searches for the riverbed, and this biological, instinctive search is the absolute proof that, although their lips remain silent, their very cells are screaming for you. The most fascinating thing about all of this is that it is not magic. It is a law of the mind and nature that a great visionary discovered decades ago, which perfectly explains your current situation. Understanding why their body reacts this way to your invisible energy will provide you with the peace of mind to stop doubting your intuition and to deeply understand why this person broke down yesterday without having you in front of them, and why you were able to feel it with such startling clarity. We must turn to the wisdom of one of the greatest explorers of the human mind, Carl Jung. Although he lived many years ago, this thinker understood a truth that modern spirituality continues to confirm every single day, that fundamentally we are not separate. Jung taught us that our minds are not isolated islands floating in the middle of an empty ocean, but rather they are part of an immense interconnected network, a great ocean of shared consciousness where everything is linked beneath the surface. He called this the collective unconscious.